Hi there, everybody, and welcome to the Love Coach Show. And my name is Bruce Starr. My guest on today's Love Coach Show is Lori Ann Davis. Lori and I have been speaking together for the last few months, and because she is a certified relationship specialist and author, which we're going to talk about a lot on this show, and she's also a radio host. Lori has a unique and passionate approach to love and relationships and believes that everyone deserves and can have the relationship of their dreams. Her mission is to provide you with the skills you need to have unstoppable relationships that you deserve. She's had over 28 years experience empowering individuals and couples to live richer, happier lives. She has an in-person private practice in Charlotte, North Carolina, and also provides relationship coaching by phone. I want to talk to her more about that, to people throughout the United States, and I heard recently around the world. So we'll talk more about that as well. Her practice spans the spectrum from dating and singles to working through divorce to renewing long-term marriages. And in addition to workshops, classes, and couples retreats, she has a local singles group. And Lori's radio show, Ask Lori, on WGIV, WDRB Media out of Charlotte, North Carolina, has become a popular medium to share relationship information to millions of people. So welcome to the show, Lori Ann. It's really great to have you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is always fun.
Great. You know, you've one of the things, the reasons why I asked you on the show, other than we've been talking about working together, is that you've written a book. And anytime someone in our field writes a book, I really want to give them the opportunity to express what that book is all about and to share the insights that made them write the book. So, Lori, first, before we talk about the book, tell me a little bit about you, kind of where you grew up, and how did you end up being one of these, like me, a relationship coach and relationship expert?
Okay. I was born and raised in New Orleans, which you can tell by the way I say it. Lived in Florida for a long time and am now in Charlotte. And I got my master's in clinical psychology about 30 years ago now. Worked in an outpatient nonprofit organization. I was the clinical supervisor for a time of a family practice office, and worked with families and couples and individuals, and eventually decided to, in Charlotte, start my own private practice. And when I was looking at what did I want to focus on, my passion really is about relationships. My passion is, I had a long-term relationship that lasted 28 years, and 25 of those were phenomenal. My term unstoppable relationships really came from that experience, that relationship that I had for 25 years where every day we woke up just really passionately in love with each other. And that's not something that a lot of people get to experience in their lives. And I really wanted people to be able to do that. So I kind of looked at, how did I keep that relationship alive? How did we do that? You know, relationships, long-term relationships don't happen. You don't ride off into the sunset once you get married, right? You know, that's what we see on TV, but that doesn't happen. It takes commitment. It takes the right attitude. It takes a lot of work to do that. And I was able to do that and wanted other couples to be able to do that as well. And you notice that I said I had, because unfortunately, at about the 28-year mark, we had kind of grown in different directions. Some things happened in our lives, and we came to the conclusion, very sad conclusion, that the relationship needed to end and we needed to go our separate ways. That was not something that I ever thought was going to happen. It was kind of a really tough space for me for a while. I still had 2 young children that I needed to raise, and So, what do you do when you are in this field and you go through something like that? You start reading everything you can get your hands on, right? And you learn even more about it, because I needed to pick myself up. I had children to raise. I had a new version of my career. It was time for my career to go to the next level. And really, that is what prompted me to start this private practice for myself. Was I still wanted to be home with my children. I homeschool my two youngest children, and I wanted a career where I could help other people, and I wanted to do it around homeschooling my children. So the perfect fit for me was to start this business, and was to do it over the phone, to do my sessions locally, but also to be able to help out and reach out to people across the United States and even across the country. Even across the world, because now with Skype and with telephone, we're really not limited to where we can have sessions. So I can build this practice around working with my children. I can build it around being passionate about wanting to help other people have these great relationships. But the other thing was, you have to realize that I hadn't been on a first date since I was 22 years old when I met my first husband. And I didn't want to raise these children alone. I wanted another relationship. I missed having that wonderful, passionate, loving relationship in my life. But I hadn't been on a first date in all of those years. So the next thing you do as a relationship expert is you start learning even more about dating. And how do I attract that right person into my life again? And I did that and was very successful at doing that. And I'm now 3 years into my next relationship, and everything is wonderful. It's great. What happened was I started meeting other singles, and I started hearing their stories and their frustrations about not being able to attract someone to their life. And, a little light bulb went off in my head. And I, after talking to them for a few minutes, could understand kind of where they were coming from. And I thought, oh, I see what you need to be doing different. And I realized that instead of just working with couples, I wanted to expand what I was doing. And I wanted to work with people who were also single. So that's really how this career of mine, the second level, the second part of my career, kind of like a second part of my life, started. And so now I'm working with people who are single, all the way through people like myself who needed to get over a loss of a relationship, and people who were in maybe long-term relationships who were at a place where they said, we've lost some of that love and that passion, but we think that there's still hope, and we would like to get that back and renew that love and passion in our relationship. So that's sort of my story about why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I'm so passionate about that. I've had that long-term relationship. I've had to go through the loss of that, and I had to pick up and find a new relationship. So I tell people, no matter where you're at in your relationship, I've been there, and I've been successful at it. So if I can do it, I'm not any different than you are. I just maybe have some knowledge and some skills that you don't have. So I'm the perfect person to help you with that, to teach you those things, to guide you through that process so that you can be as happy as you need to be and want to be.
Well, that's really a wonderful, wonderful story. I think it's very appropriate, and it's very wonderful, and anyone would be interested in wanting to learn what you've learned from all of the things that you have gone through. So congratulations. It's a wonderful story.
Thank you.
Now, what was it that said to you, I've got to write this book? I've been learning all these different things. What information, what new idea did you say, hey, I haven't seen that in any other books. I need to write a book?
I don't know that there's any of the information that's in the book that somebody's going to say they couldn't dig out and find somewhere else. I think what makes this book, and here, I've got my little book in my hand.
There it is.
What makes this book unique is when I started looking, when I started this career, I started doing it over the internet, which that was very new for me. I had always just seen clients that were local. So I started writing blogs, and I started writing a program for people, for couples, and I called it Unmasking Secrets. My term for it is Unstoppable Relationships, and that's also the name of the book. So it was sort of a journey of writing blogs and trying to look and starting to write programs that I wanted to take couples through. And I started looking at what really were my secrets for this relationship that I had had for so long and for the new relationship that I was creating. And as I was writing down my ideas and as I started writing blogs, it was funny, I was sitting with a girlfriend of mine and we were sitting around my dining room table having coffee one morning. She is an editor, copy editor. And so she had sort of been helping me with my blogs. And we said, you know, I have a book here. If I take all of this stuff that I'm putting down, all of these secrets, and then I started writing this program, narrowing it down to these 4 secrets. And I thought, this is a book, and maybe it's not anything that's new, but it's my take on it. It's my journey. It's my secrets. It's how I have put together bits and pieces of things that I don't think I hadn't seen put together in this way, at least. And so I could read a lot of things, people said it, but this is my voice. This is my way of saying it. It's my secrets. And it really is little small things that people can do on a day-to-day basis. So instead of it being something overwhelming or something huge that people say, I've got to make this huge shift in who I am in order to attract or keep that relationship, I'm giving you little tidbits that you can do. Things that you don't know, because yes, you could do the research and find all of these things. But how long did it take me to come up with all of this? You know, a long time. So I've put it together for you. I've broken it down into little sections of small things that you can do. And that's the other key to it. It's things you can do. So instead of saying, I'm not happy with my relationship or I'm not attracting the right person, they need to change. No, this is things you can do. So I'm giving you the power to change the relationship you're in or to know the things you need to know to attract that right person. That's very different because now you can create the relationship you want. And that was a different take on it than I think maybe are in some other books or in some other areas. So it's a combination of giving you the power. It's my secrets and it's broken down into small steps that I think are easy to understand in my voice, in my way of talking. And so I started looking at what I was doing on the radio. I started looking at my blogs, and I took all of that, as well as my own experience, my own knowledge, and put it into this book for people that hopefully will give a lot of people the information that they need to get them started on the journey to an unstoppable relationship.
As you know, we both have a passion for single people. I'm sure people tell you all the time you have to be crazy because the single people are sometimes some of the craziest people out there, and you know there's so many things going on with them that is keeping them from where they want to be, and there's so many fears, and we've all been through that. I mean,
yes.
Going through the fear of risking love again, for some people, including myself, is one of the scariest undertakings that there are. So, what would you say? Let's share one of the, goodness gracious, I'm sorry that that's happening. Share one of the most interesting things that you can teach people. Sorry about that. I don't know where the
technology. It's okay.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay. So what would be one of the most interesting things that you can teach people that is one of the most stunning things that you came across where you can save people a lot of time and energy and heartbreak?
One of the things that I think is so important is this whole idea that men and women are so different. We think different. We act different. We have different needs in relationships. And yet, nobody ever teaches us that. That is a concept that we get because of the field we're in and all the reading and all the hours we spend learning. But for the average person, we understand it because we're frustrated with the opposite sex. And we think, really? Why in the world are they doing that? Why are they acting that way? But instead of understanding them and learning to appreciate those differences and actually use those differences to our advantage, we want them to act like us. And we don't understand. So I think one of the greatest gifts as coaches, maybe sometimes, that we can do is we can help singles, couples, to understand the opposite sex better and understand what they need and what they want. And when we do that, we can act in ways, a lot of times singles, well, and couples too, we're repelling the other person, and that is not what we're doing. We think that we are doing all the right things to attract this person to us, when honestly what we're doing is the opposite. We're pushing them away, and we see this all the time. The person has absolutely no clue how to actually attract and draw that person to them. So, you know, obviously I'm a female. So from a female perspective, we don't understand sometimes that when we are trying so hard to attract the guy, and we're going after them, maybe we're trying to do nice things for him, we're giving and we're giving, and actually that's the last thing that we should be doing. When we overgive, we are pushing them away. That's really masculine energy. That's and men don't want masculine energy. They want us to be feminine. So all of this over texting, over calling, over reaching out, overdoing, is we think that that's being helpful and loving, because for another female, that would be over giving. You know, if we were giving that much to one of our girlfriends, they would think we were wonderful. The men think that we're being too controlling, or they think that we're telling them what to do, or that they can't do it right. And so that overdoing, that was a huge one for me. You know, I remember that when I first learned that concept, I thought, what do you mean? I'm being helpful. I'm being, you know, it's a feminine thing to give and to do. And I realized, no, that wasn't. That was really masculine energy. He's shaking his head and going, yes. So that's a biggie that most women don't have a clue. They really just don't understand.
You know, that's upset the whole world, what you just talked about. The masculine and the feminine energy, you know, because for 10,000 years, men, people choosing to come in as men this time, were the assertive, aggressive. You know, I call it like the Fred Flintstone effect, where Fred went out and worked and came back with the food and shared his bounty with his loving wife. None of those positions are stronger or weaker. They're just very different.
Yes.
And what I've learned very clearly from Dr. Pat Allen's work, people should look up Dr. Pat Allen, is that for 10,000 years, men have been the assertive, aggressive ones. And then if the women take that away from them, men don't know what to do.
Right.
And then they if they can't be aggressive to win you over, then they have to become receptive, and everything gets mixed up. So what you brought up was a perfect point, and even more excited about us doing work together in the future, because that right there has confused the world terribly and is causing all the upset. People don't know what kind of energy they should be putting out there. And so, and we could probably do a whole show just on that right there.
You know, I have it's a huge part of my book. I talk a lot about masculine and feminine energy. And I talk about, you know, we've lost our template for how to act. And women are going out all day long acting in masculine energy at jobs, at works. And that's wonderful. We should be able to do that. But they have forgotten then how to change hats, take off the masculine energy hat, put on the feminine energy hat, in order to be a part of the relationship, in order to really give the man what he needs and wants in the relationship. But you know, Bruce, it's more than just giving him what he wants. Although for me, that would probably be enough. I really want my guy to be happy. But it's not just about making him happy. It's also about balancing us. And as women, we get exhausted. We are out of balance when we spend all of our time in masculine energy. I give a talk a lot of times to different groups about the power of feminine energy and why we want to connect with that energy when we're with our guy. Not just for him, we want to connect with that energy for us. It energizes us. It balances us. Not only does it make it have a better relationship and make him happier, we're happier. And so it's something we really need. We need to spend time in that feminine energy. And when we don't, we get exhausted. So there's something in it for us too. And my book has a lot of examples, a lot of suggestions about how to do that. And I talk about that a lot in the book. So yes, I am excited about working with you and us balancing that.
And when we bring a lot of people together, we're not going to just tell them why things aren't working. We're going to give them substantial answers that will help them get back to the ways that have worked. You know, some people say to me, oh, Love Coach, you're old school. And I say, how's that new school working out for you?
Right. Yeah. And you know what? No, go ahead. As a female, I have to do this on a day-to-day basis because I'm working. So I'm taking care of my children. I've got to balance my children at home that I'm homeschooling. I'm balancing this career. So I spend a lot of time in that masculine energy. I have to. But I am also a living example of how you can balance that and how it works for you. So I can speak to women from my own personal experience, my own personal example. You know, when I was writing this book, and the publisher was talking to me about it, and she asked me if I had put enough of my own personal story and personal examples in the book. And it was probably one of the things I had not done. So I went back and I rewrote and added before I gave it to them. And she was right. I needed to share with the people that were buying my book how I do it and some examples of what I do on a day-to-day basis and how it works. So when you read the book, you do get not just me saying, okay, in theory, this works. You get, how do I do this? How do I balance my life? How do I keep my guy happy and me happy at the same time? And I was able to do it for a long time in a relationship. And now I'm doing it again. It wasn't that I was just lucky because I had this one perfect partner. You know, I'm doing it a second time with somebody who's very different. And so I've got that second time around. So yes, I think that we can do a good job of helping people to do that. Again, not just for the other partner, not just to attract a relationship, but they're going to be happier as well.
And you know, when you say that people are exhausted because they're playing this role and they've had to relearn this new role, it's like walking around in somebody else's shoes. These shoes that you put yourself into really aren't meant for you. They're meant, you know, you just weren't supposed to be wearing combat boots if you're, you know, a petite feminine lady. So we're going to talk more about that, and we can straighten this out for people. There's no doubt about it. And we're not going to tell people don't be that masculine person at work. No, be that tough masculine person at work. You just have a little more homework to do to have that balance in your life. So that's great. I really look forward to sharing the stage with you about that. So, Lorianne, you did mention, you know, one of the great secrets to having an unstoppable relationship. If you'd like to share another one or two, you certainly can, but we don't want to give away the whole book, even though I'm sure that would be impossible to do.
Well, I'll just kind of go over a little bit about what an unstoppable relationship is. It is a term I came up with when I started out on this path again. A gentleman that I know who has been a great supportive of me said he started calling me Ms. Unstoppable. And when I started thinking about a tagline for my business, it was funny, that was the one I ended up with. So the unstoppable relationship is my term. But what it means is that, you know, we all start off on that honeymoon phase in our relationship. And I don't have to describe that. We know how wonderful that phase is. We've got rose-colored glasses on. Everything is fabulous. Eventually, that kind of those rose-colored glasses come off. We kind of start getting into some conflict. We've got things to work out with each other. And some people really get stuck in that phase. They can't move past the conflict. or the love and the passion kind of starts to deteriorate. And people either think that that's as good as it gets, that's all that they can expect, so they stop there, or they don't know how to get past that. They don't know how to get that relationship back. An unstoppable relationship is one where you've been together long enough that this person is your best friend, your confidant. You've got a great foundation. You love each other. You can communicate. You can negotiate on things when you need to. You understand each other. And at the same time, you can get that love and passion back that you had in the very beginning of the relationship. So it really is the very top pinnacle of a relationship that is capable. Everybody's capable of having that kind of relationship. Unfortunately, very few people ever get there. And like I said, sometimes it's because I think they don't even believe that they can. They don't even know it's possible. Or if they think it's possible, they think only some people get lucky enough and just have it. And they don't know how to get there. So I really teach them about how to have all of those parts to the relationship, that underlying foundation, that communication. I teach them understand the differences between men and women and how to utilize that to your advantage. And then how to have unstoppable love and passion in your relationship. If you don't have, on my radio show, I teach you how to have more passion in your life. I do it on Thursday nights for the weekend, but really it's for every day. If you don't have that passion, you have more of a friendship. You don't have the relationship I want you to have. So those are sort of some of just the tip of the iceberg on the secrets. And the book goes into detail about how to have those in small steps. How do you get there?
Great, wonderful. Can I listen to your show over the internet from where I am in South Florida?
Yes, you can. The show is internet-based, and so if you go, it's wgivcharlotte.com, that people can look at it that way. But it really, the only thing that they need for anything is my website. So my website is lorianndavis.com. That's LORIANN Davis.com. I have a link on the front page to order the book. I have a link on the front page to connect to the radio show. You can connect through your computer, or there's a TuneIn app that people have on their TVs now, on their phones. The TuneIn app's all over. So you can listen that way. The other thing that people can do, I'm on twice. I'm on my Thursday night show that is just my show where I interview other people. Sometimes I just answer questions and do the show myself. But I'm also on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock with Dr. Business, who's the head of the radio. We have a whole hour, Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, where we answer questions that people have written in. The two of us are a hoot together. We have a lot of fun. We joke. We give good information. But all of that's on my website. The other thing that I do to all of my shows is I turn them into a video, which means basically I just put a picture on them. So on my website, there's a video link which will take you to my YouTube channel where you can go back and listen to any topic you want for any past show. So there's a lot of different ways to get information. I write blogs every week. So I'm putting out lots of free information for people on lots of different topics that they can feel free to go and utilize all of that information that I'm putting out there.
And they can also call you to have one-on-one relationship coaching sessions from anywhere where they're watching this video. Anywhere
we can, and if they're watching this video, I just talked to a lady this afternoon from Spain, and so we did our talk through Skype. So if we can't do it over the phone, we can do it through Skype. I am putting together a group coaching package as well for people that maybe don't want individual or can't afford individual coaching. I will take them through the same program that I do individuals, but I'm putting together small groups so they can contact me about that information. And I will always, if you send me a note through my website, we can pick a time and we can do a free 30-minute strategy session where you can tell me what you have going on and I can give you some ideas of how I could help you with that. And you can kind of get an idea of whether we might be a good fit for each other.
Wonderful. Show your book again and tell people the name of your website again, and if you want your email.
Sure. It is the book is Unmasking Secrets to Unstoppable Relationships. You can pre-order it through my website right now. It should be released any any day now. We're waiting for the final proof to be approved by the publisher. Then it will be on Amazon. But in the meantime, you can pre-order it through my website. People can contact me through my website. It's LoriAnnDavis.com. That's LORIANNDavis.com. You can get all sorts of information on my website. You can contact me for a strategy session. You can read blogs, listen to radio shows, find out a lot about who I am and what I have going on through my website.
Oh, what a wonderful show we did here today. Great information. Wonderful getting to know you better, Lori Ann Davis. Thank you so much for being on the Love Coach Show. And I look forward to getting to know you better and helping spread the word, the work that you're doing. So thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Until next time, everybody, my name is Bruce Starr, the Love Coach. Thanks for being here, and we'll be around for more shows. Bye-bye, everybody.